I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine.
Hey, we are 2 Star Wars nerds, and this is maybe a little bit different than what we normally do, but, even to start things off, what's so ridiculous almost is that we have to say things like, you're entitled to have your own opinion about media that you consume. And we've talked about this extensively just in our own private life, that it's really almost insane that people will gatekeep and say, well, you're not a real Star Wars fan unless, or you are a real Star Wars fan if you like this, and just this whole thing where it's like, let's forget about the fact that George had different tiers of canon. He had his own head canon, but if it's good enough for George Lucas, I think it's good enough for us that we can say what we like and don't like.
Yes.
But then, we were having the conversation that even your opinion about Star Wars media can get you labeled as certain things. It's just so ridiculous.
Star Wars isn't real life. As much as we all love it,
What?
It doesn't dictate who we are as people.
Yeah.
It's something for our enjoyment and something to take us out of the craziness of the world and escape. Doesn't define our personality or our character.
Yeah, and there's a whole, I guess, undercurrent of a philosophy that maybe people can get caught up in, but nonetheless, just stating it matter-of-factly, we're done watching Disney Star Wars.
Deuces.
We just are. We've really chosen to just stick with what we like. And let me clarify, like Rogue One is in there, Siege of Mandalore. There's things that are from Disney that are in there, but everything moving forward, honestly, just not interested. And we wanted to film this kind of to give, for anybody who cares, I suppose, our reasoning why, but then also just saying kind of what we're just going to keep focusing on.
We want to watch things that we enjoy and that don't make us mad or upset. Like, we want to watch things that we enjoy and that we're passionate about, and the beautiful thing is we have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, and honestly,
we don't have to love and watch and enjoy everything because someone else does.
Yeah, and we've had Disney Plus canceled for a while, and
don't miss it.
Yeah, we haven't missed it. But I mean, I guess if we start from the beginning, like
Let's start from the end, because how we knew, we were talking a couple months ago and we're like, we're not even excited for Kenobi.
No.
And we're huge prequel fans. Like, we're not even excited. Like, I just know I'm going to be let down, and I don't want to be let down again. And it's like, I'd rather just not watch it. So that's what started that conversation, started kicking things off. And it's like, yeah, why almost do we feel this obligation to watch something just because Star Wars is in the name?
Yeah, and I've said I am very much in the camp that just because Star Wars is labeled something doesn't mean I have to like it, and I have friends in real life and online that hold a different position, and that's totally fine.
You can still be friends.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
But for me, just because it's called Star Wars doesn't mean I have to be interested in it.
Yep.
But I mean,
we're not obligated to watch it or enjoy anything.
Yeah, and recently we've just found watching 1 through 6 and the Clone Wars and reading the EU.
We like Rebels.
Yeah, and Rebels is cool. Rogue One, and then honestly, even like droids. Like even things like that. I'm more excited to watch droids than new stuff.
So that's what started this. It's like, yeah, why are we paying? Because we started Disney Plus from Mando.
Yeah, for real, we did. Yeah, but even let's go way back. So here's the thing. And a lot of this is like, we didn't start this on some hype train. Like, we've been on Star Wars literally our whole life.
Yes, since I came out of the womb.
We were buying, like, once we were
on Star Wars Day.
Yeah, you were. You really were. But that doesn't qualify us necessarily.
Well, it makes me a professional.
It makes you cooler.
Yeah.
But
I'm a professional.
we were very.
Star
I mean,
Wars.
like when the complete saga came out on Blu-ray, day one went and bought it. Like just all sorts of things. Like every time something new came out, for home media, we were buying it and we were watching, and all sorts of stuff. And when The Force Awakens came out, we were on it. Honestly, I loved it. I was so pumped. And in retrospect, I think I was blinded a little bit by nostalgia.
Yeah, I was only mad about one part in Rogue One, and that was Han.
Force Awakens.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, not Rogue One. Force Awakens, and that was just Han, because you see him have this character development, in 4 through 6, and then you see him in Force Awakens, you're like, he's worse. He's not just reverted, he's worse than how he started. So and then I'm like, and then they killed him off, so he never gets redeemed, and he kind of just dies as a terrible person.
Yeah, and I gave a pass to it, and I was like, surely there's got to be some plan.
That's what I thought. But overall, we loved the movie. We saw it like 7 times in theaters.
Yeah, and we owned it. We still have a digital copy we can't get rid of just because you can't like delete it. But nonetheless, when 8 and 9 came out, I realized like, wow, this is actually a lot worse than I thought it was. And we never bought The Last Jedi.
No.
Literally only have seen The Rise of Skywalker once, and I am not interested to ever see it again. But what started brewing way back then, way before YouTube, for us, like the treatment of legacy characters of Han, of Leia, and Luke.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. They're so diametrically opposed to what George created them to be in the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
It just is. And, George himself even says that it went a totally different direction. He himself just says it was totally wrong and it wasn't his story.
Mm-hmm.
And, so a lot of people like him, and it's like good for them. I've never been in the camp to like it. But I think for us, Mandalorian kind of gave a boost, and we're like, it
ignited some hope for us.
Yeah. And it's definitely like there's something here. But then what ended up happening is when we realized it's still pointing to the same place. It's not something alternative. It's not a different timeline. Like it's just serving the role of strengthening that. That's where it's leading.
Yep.
And as more of that came in, it was hard.
And then Boba is where just everything, we're like...
Yeah.
First you ruin Han, then you ruin Leia, then you ruin Luke, and we're still giving you chances, and then you ruin Boba Fett.
Yeah, and that show... That show was very bad. And then you even saw it, just the budget and the time they put into the Mandalorian episodes.
Those were awesome.
And yes, but then again, they kind of weren't, because it's just leading...
It was Mandalorian, not Boba Fett.
Yeah, and it's leading to the sequels again, And for me, it's like it's not just, I hate the sequels. I think that
it is for me.
I think that there's consistent missteps, and I think that there's consistent missed opportunities and just wrong directions for me. My opinion, right? I know people have dedicated their life to writing this stuff and directing, but for me, I'm like, it just doesn't do it for me. Like when I read this,
That's
so
cool.
When I'm reading all these books I've been buying and watching all these things,
and we light up again, and there's joy and excitement. It's like, I have to keep reading because I want to know what happens next. And it's not like, okay, let's watch Boba Fett and see what happens this week.
Yeah, and part of it started with Bad Batch too, because for me, like, we were like staying up and watching Bad Batch. Like, it'd be cool to start a YouTube channel.
First episode was a banger.
And it got to the point where I was like, it's not even worth me staying up till midnight anymore. And then it got to the point where it's like, oh, I'll watch it in a couple days.
When I feel like it, when I have time.
And then Boba, I'm like, it's a chore.
Yep.
I'm like, I told people I would watch this, so I'll watch it. And then now, literally, there's nothing for stuff moving forward. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. But I've just decided to instead, like, I'm just gonna double down on the almost 40 years of content.
Yeah, we have a lot of good stuff to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. And you say the thing that you were saying about the back of the book.
Oh yeah, even on the back of Heir to the Empire, it says the authorized continuation of the legendary Star Wars saga. It's like that's what I'm gonna go with.
And obviously it's just one book out of many, and it's just one piece of Star Wars, but it's like there was an authorized plan. There was a direction. And instead, things are just going wrong. And, you can look at the leaks and you can look at all this stuff, and it's like, it is what it is. But we've actually kind of prolonged making this anyways, because, like, we've been pretty set as soon as Boba was done. We're like, that was kind of it. It was like, and it's not just about Boba. It's like, I just can't understand how you can make something so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think if you remove Star Wars from it, if you don't call it a Star Wars show and you objectively look at it, I would be surprised if you think the Book of Boba Fett is good. And I think if you remove Star Wars from a lot of things that Disney has put out and you objectively look at it, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I don't think less of anybody who likes it, but in my opinion, I just don't think it's good. And I just don't have a habit of consuming things that I don't think are good.
Yeah. It's for entertainment, not for a chore.
Yeah. But why don't you say some things for, like, what we're doing kind of moving forward? A lot of it's not honestly that different, but just what we're doing.
Yeah, we're continuing with Clone Wars, going arc by arc.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll probably do Rebels. We're continuing through the EU. We're going to continue doing deleted scenes that we need to finish for the prequels. Prequels.
There you go.
And then we're going to do some more deep dive on the prequels and the OT. So we still have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, and for us, there is just an enjoyment about Star Wars that we just want to foster. We just want to, like, press into the things that we enjoy, and that's simply what it is. But hey, if you like the new stuff, more power to you. I'd throw in the towel. But with that, we are two Star Wars nerds, and may the Force be with you always.
And Disney, who was a little nervous. There's one of the issues was the first three movies had all kinds of issues. They looked at the stories and they said, we want to make something for the fans. So I said, all I wanted to do was tell a story of what happened. It started here and it went there, and it's all about generations, and it's about, the issues of fathers and sons and grandfathers, and it's a family soap opera. Ultimately, we call it space opera, but people don't realize it's actually a soap opera. And it's all about family problems and it's not about spaceships. So they decided they didn't want to use those stories. They decided they were going to go do their own thing, and so I decided, fine. But basically, I'm not going to try to, they weren't that keen to have me involved anyway, but at the same time I said, I'm not going to, if I get in there, I'm just going to cause trouble, because they're not going to do what I want them to do. So, and I don't have the control to do that anymore, and all I would do is muck everything up. So I said, okay, I will go my way and I'll let them go their way.